On a quiet summer morning in 1945, a single bomb, no bigger than a car, fell from the belly of an American aircraft. 43 seconds later, the world changed forever. A blinding flash, a fireball hotter than the surface of the sun. A city vanished, and humanity stepped into the nuclear age, an age filled with fear, power, and questions we still struggle with today. This is the story of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the most devastating use of weapons in human history. A story of science, war, destruction, and survival. Stay with me till the end, because the truth of what happened is far more shocking than what most people know. Chapter 1. The race to the bomb. World War II was reaching its boiling point. In Europe, Hitler's armies were collapsing. But in the Pacific, Japan was still fighting fiercely. Every island, every beach, every inch of territory was defended with unimaginable resistance. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, something secret, something terrifying was happening. In 1942, the United States launched the Manhattan Project, the most expensive and most secret military operation in history at that time. Over 130,000 scientists, engineers, and soldiers worked in total secrecy across dozens of facilities hidden from the world. But the heart of the project was a single goal: create a bomb powerful enough to end the war. Among these scientists was J. Robert Oppenheimer, the man who would later be called the father of the atomic bomb. When the first nuclear test succeeded in the deserts of New Mexico in July 1945, Oppenheimer saw the explosion and whispered a chilling line from the Bhagavad Gita: "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." The bomb worked. Now the question was, what would they do with it? Chapter 2. Why the United States chose Hiroshima. By mid-1945, Japan refused to surrender. Despite losing territory, ships, cities, and millions of soldiers, the military government chose death over surrender. American leaders faced a difficult choice: invade Japan, which could cost up to 1 million American lives and millions of Japanese lives, or force Japan's surrender using the newly created atomic bomb. After long debates, President Harry Truman approved the use of the bomb. Not once, but twice. The first target chosen was Hiroshima, a city of military factories, railways, and over 300,000 civilians. The second target would be Nagasaki. But before the bombs were dropped, something eerie happened. On August 6, 1945, at 2:45 a.m., a B-29 bomber named Enola Gay took off carrying a bomb nicknamed Little Boy. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a new force of nature. Chapter 3. The bombing of Hiroshima. Visual. Clouds parting. Plane flying. Heartbeat slow and heavy. It was 8:15 a.m. Children were walking to school. Workers were starting their day. Mothers were preparing breakfast. Then, a flash brighter than 1,000 suns lit up the entire sky. For a split second, everything went silent. Then came the shockwave. Buildings flattened instantly. People evaporated in an instant. Their shadows burned onto walls. Glass, steel, and rubble flew like bullets. A massive firestorm engulfed the city. Within seconds, 70,000 people were dead. Within hours, tens of thousands more would follow. Survivors described the horrors: people wandering with their skin hanging off, bodies floating in rivers as people jumped into the water to cool their burning skin. A city turned into a wasteland. But the nightmare wasn't over. A strange black rain began falling from the sky. Radioactive particles mixed with soot and smoke, poisoning the survivors even more. Japan still did not surrender. Chapter 4. Nagasaki. The second bomb 3 days later, August 9th, 1945. Another American bomber took off, carrying a bomb nicknamed Fat Man. Its power was even greater than the Hiroshima bomb. Originally, the target was the city of Kakura. But heavy clouds blocked the view, so the plane turned toward its secondary target, Nagasaki. At 11:02 a.m., the bomb fell. This time, the terrain of the city, a valley surrounded by mountains, reduced the area of destruction, but the bomb was far more powerful. In seconds, 40,000 people were killed. Factories, homes, chatis. A column of smoke rose 18 kilometers into the sky. Japan was now faced with a decision: continue fighting and lose millions more, or surrender. Chapter 5. Japan surrenders. On August 15, 1945, Emperor Hirohito spoke to the nation by radio, something never done before. His voice was shaky but clear. We must endure the unendurable and surrender. World War II was over. For the first time in history, nuclear weapons had been used in war. The world entered a new age of technology, fear, and power. Chapter 6. The Aftermath. The real human cost. The bombs did not stop killing after the explosions ended. Radiation sickness began spreading. Hair falling out, mouths bleeding. High fevers. Internal organs failing. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Doctors didn't understand radiation yet. Many survivors died within days, weeks, even months later. By the end of 1945, the death toll for Hiroshima reached 140,000. For Nagasaki, 70,000. But even decades later, survivors called Hibokushophist cancer, birth defects, and discrimination. They had lived through something unimaginable. Many lost their entire families, their homes, their future. Yet somehow, they rebuilt their cities from ashes. Chapter 7. Could the bombings have been avoided? Historians still debate a question: were the atomic bombings necessary? Some say Japan would never surrender, and millions of lives were saved. Others argue Japan was already close to surrender. The bombings were unnecessary and morally unacceptable. Some say the US wanted to intimidate the Soviet Union, starting the Cold War right after World War II. There is no single answer, but there is one truth. The atomic bomb created a fear that still shapes our world. Chapter 8. The legacy of Hiroshima and Nagasaki today. Hiroshima and Nagasaki are symbols of peace, not because of what happened, but because of what must never happen again. Every year, survivors gather to ring a peace bell. Prime ministers and world leaders attend ceremonies. Paper cranes are folded in memory of the children who died. One survivor once said, "I lost everything that day, but I lived so that I could tell the world. Never again. Nuclear weapons still exist, more powerful than ever, enough to destroy the world many times over. But the memory of Hiroshima and Nagasaki continues to remind us that war has limits, that humanity must choose peace, and that a single moment can change history forever. If you watched Still Now, remember these. The story of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's not just about bombs. It's about people. It's about choices. And it's about the kind of future we want. History is not just something to learn. It's something to understand, so we don't repeat it. If you want more powerful history videos like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you for watching.